Hi, everyone. Welcome to the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. Round 10 of 10 for 2018. We're at the MotoAmerica Championship of Alabama at Birmingham, Alabama, Barber Motorsports Park. I'm Greg White, sitting alongside Jason Pridmore, who's won 2 world titles in his day of racing, which was, I think, in the 1940s, as I recall.
Yep, that sounds about right. It feels like it's that long ago, Greg.
Welcome to the final day of race action for MotoAmerica in 2018. Junior Cup coming up, Liqui Moly Junior Cup coming at you here in a second. Jason, let's take a look at Barber Motorsports Park, and up and down, multiple cornered, just roller coaster of fun.
Yeah, it is, Greg. It's got a lot of undulations. Turn 1 being the first place you go down a steep hill, up to turn 2, then down again into a big valley into turn 3. 4 is flat out, especially on the little bikes that we're going to see here in a minute. Down into probably the biggest braking spot that we have here at Barber, passing spot that is, turn 5, out of Charlotte's Web there, 6 and 7. We head down to 8 and 9, the museum turn. After the museum turn, quick little chicane through 10 and 11 to the back side of the track where you'll see a lot of spectators hanging out over on the hillside over there, into a very tricky downhill turn 12, and then an uphill turn 13 up over the top of the bridge there. 14, 15, 16. A lot of time on the right-hand side of the tire through there, Greg, and then a left-hander that brings you back out onto the front straightaway. And again, with this class specifically, we do see the advancement, or we will be able to see guys draft each other. So that start-finish line is quite a ways down, 3/4 of the way down the straightaway. So we'll be able to see some drafting to the line.
We just had a look at Alex Dumas, your pole sitter and race winner from yesterday. 9 race wins on the season. And Jay, you touched on the fact that next weekend he's heading off to Magna Corps for World Superbike. He'll be racing the 300 class at the World Superbike event. We look forward to seeing what Alex has to represent MotoAmerica and his racing in the United States. I would say America, but the dude's Canadian. But
he is. Yeah.
I mean, still. I mean, it's great to have Alex Dumas in the mix. He's on pole with a 138.712. JP.
Yep. Jackson Blackman next to him. Hopefully, we'll see Jackson complete a lap today and be up front with these guys. Corey Ventura gets bumped up to that front row after Ashton Yates withdrew and for the weekend due to injury. Kevin Anthony, Jay Newton, and Joe Blash, just 3 more guys that we're going to see up in that lead group. Coming from row 2. Row 3, we got Renzo Ferreira, Damian Jiggleoff, who was on a charge yesterday and tipped over. Kevin Almeida outside of row 3. Then, good to see Jamie Astudillo back up. Toby Kamsuk. Gage Reese is going to be there on the outside of row 4. So a lot of these people a lot of the kids are getting jumped up a spot because of Ashton not being there. Dominic Doyle, Hunter Dunham, Trevor Standish outside row 5. Then we got Mark Edwards, Dallas Daniels, and Tyler Whistle there for row 6. Moving on further just a little bit back to row 7. We've got the 2 brothers, Dylan and Ryan Deutschlander, and Nate Minster. Then we have Teague Hobbs, Sean Navarsky, Isaiah Burleson on row 8. So
we have one rider,
one rider, and Kevin Nold. And we saw Kevin tip over yesterday.
Yep. And
good to see him back up and running again and getting him back out. Hopefully he can get that experience that he needs to, complete all these laps. It's a big deal when you're this young just to be able to get all those laps in. And so like somebody like Jackson yesterday that tipped over in turn 5 on the opening lap, Greg, he didn't get to really go through those laps. Whatever he had to race with yesterday, he's probably got that again today. He was quickest this morning in our practice session, our morning warm-up.
11 laps scheduled in this one, and yesterday we had red flags, and it was a very interesting race yesterday, and hopefully we could keep it on 2 wheels today. But, Jason, the interesting thing temperature-wise, we're about the same temperature, but a lot of the riders complaining about how greasy the track is. You can see the heat just coming right off the racetrack, but it feels a lot more muggy today, doesn't it?
I agree. It definitely feels hotter today. These guys, I love it because this is a warm-up lap, and they kind of grid it like it almost was like the start of the race, Mm-hmm. But I think there's a couple of interesting factors here. I think Jackson, seeing how he handles what happened yesterday, he was quickest in warm-up, so whatever they did to the bike to get it back together, he was obviously very happy with it this morning. That's great. I think it's a huge benefit for Corey Ventura, who tried to go with Alex yesterday. He was the main guy that tried to go off with him. He gets to start from the front row today instead of that second row. And that kind of stuff just psychologically will play on you in a positive way for Corey to be able to start up there on the front row with Jackson and Alex. So, and then the guy at 4th on our screen that just went through the screen there, Damian Jiggleoff, what is he going to do today? He got a good start yesterday. Then he kind of got shuffled back. One little mistake going into turn 12, 13. He lost some momentum, got passed by a few guys, then came back and passed those guys back before he tipped over, but he was showing some real speed. So I don't think it's going to be the race that we saw yesterday. And hopefully we have no red flags, and this 11 laps can be a good one.
Yeah, yesterday, of course, we had 7 people that either didn't start the second, after the restart or didn't finish the race. So we qualified 27 on Saturday, but only 25 taking the grid today because, Jason, like you mentioned, a couple riders not able to start, including Ashton Yates.
And that could play out, too, when we talk about Ashton in the points. Right now, I believe he's second, Greg, isn't he? And Corey is probably right behind him. Jane Newton's probably right behind him.
He was, but he slipped down after yesterday to fourth in the points. So it's Corey Ventura and then Jay Newton in second and third in this championship. And Ashton, unfortunately, slipped all the way down to fourth spot.
Got it.
So what you have in terms of the points, though, is you have...
there you go.
Yeah,
It's
so...
65-point lead. Alex won the championship at the last round. And
I would say the closest battle that we have is going to be Jackson Blackman is tied in points right now with Sean Umbarski, and that's for fifth spot. So, it's always better to say you're top 5 in the points than it is top 10 in the points. And then a little bit further back, Jamie Ostadillo is only 4 points ahead of Kevin Almeida in 8th and 9th, but also Jamie Ostadillo is only 3 points behind Gavin Anthony. So really, this whole Sean Umbarski, Jackson Blackman, and then you have Gavin Anthony, Jamie Ostadillo, and Kevin Almeida all mixed up there in, how this is all going to finish out and what you can say your season was like in 2018 in Liqui Junior Cup.
Yep.
So we keep an eye on that as we prepare to go racing. Riders in spots in their grids. That green flag indicates we are good to go. So now it's time to get the final Liqui Junior Cup race of 2018 underway.
Good start from our whole front row. So our front row is going to basically lead them into turn 1. All 3 guys got off the line great. Alex is going to lead Jackson Blackman and Corey Ventura as they go in and through turn 1. And clean start. Everybody got through turn 1, Greg.
Alex is just magic coming out through turn 1 on this first lap.
Yeah, when you sit there and you look all weekend and you look at the sector times, where the Yamahas seem to do really well is off the back chute. Sector 3 and 4, Alex kind of does really good through sectors 1 and 2. So you're going to see this kind of a little bit of an effect, I think, where guys are going to be going back and forth. I'm looking, Damian Jiggleoff didn't make his big
rider down.
Got a rider down there.
Yeah.
So 20.
Hunter
20.
Dunham.
Yep.
Hunter Dunham out of Georgia. And Hunter on that Toon Racing machine. So he's down, going to pick it up and try to keep going.
It looked like there might have been a little contact there with Hunter because saw a couple other guys running a little bit wide. That can happen down in turn 5. I'm glad to see Hunter back up and on his way. And it's important that you get back in these things because if there's any kind of red flags, you can get right back in the race, just like we saw Jackson Blackman get to do yesterday. And he marched his way through the field all the way up to, I believe, 8th yesterday.
That's right.
And so it's important to get back up and keep going.
Working lap number 1, number 18, Jackson Blackman, who we were just talking about, with a better start. Looking really good right now. 64, Corey Ventura, trying to figure it out on an MP13 racing machine. So Ventura, just like you're talking about, just closing back up in this sector.
Yep. And Jackson's been on pace all weekend. On Friday, I saw him running around with Ashton a fair bit, but it just looked like he had really good, consistent pace. So I expect that from him as well here. I don't think Alex is going to go anywhere. I believe that the 2 behind him especially, and then, of course, Jane Newton and Renzo Ferreira are right there as well. I think we're going to see 4, 5, 6 bikes, in this lead group eventually. It just depends. This is the area where Alex kind of shines his first 2 sectors. We're looking right now 16.8 to 17 flat. Back there, Jane Newton does 16.8. So does Renzo. But Alex just kind of pulls away that first 2 segments from the guys behind him. You see Corey Ventura now is going to try to jump up ahead of Jackson as they go into turn 5. He makes the pass clean.
Beautiful.
Really clean, smooth pass by Corey Ventura.
41.4 from a dead stop, Jason. The fastest lap yesterday at 39.3.
Yeah, and this morning, just to let you know, I think Jackson went quicker as he goes back by Corey Ventura down that short little chute. Oh, and Jackson crashes in turn 8 there. He goes up underneath and crashes again. Oh. So he's up. He's okay. That's the main thing. He's up and okay. And just a bummer.
So Jackson Blackman, air suit activated as well. Head down, but he'll be back to fight another day next season. So he is out of this one, crashes himself out of a podium position. And that, of course, helps the gap between Alex Dumas and the rest of his competitors. So now we have the 98 of Jay Newton in the mix.
I was just going to say Jackson went faster this morning than I think pole time. And this is a turn you can see. He gets in there. He outbrakes Corey on his way in, but just tucks the front. He had too much speed, just way too much speed, really. And he just couldn't get the bike committed to turning it back over onto the line where Alex would be in front of him. And just lost the front. But he slid along, which is good. Didn't get in contact with the bike. And and just glad to see he's okay.
Jason, I mean, for people out there, maybe, do track days or race or whatever, how do you, if you're the rider that just got passed and you're behind Jackson, how do you keep your focus and not follow him?
It's hard. I mean, I think Corey sat up and was braking in like maybe the normal spot. In a situation like that, Jackson had a run on him going down there, but we're only on the second lap. It might have been good if Jackson could have just hung out, seeing where Corey goes, maybe pull him up to Alex. Jackson knew he had pace after this morning. As you see Jay Newton now slide up underneath Corey Ventura as they head down there into turn 5. But all the while, right now, Alex is just kind of eking away from these guys. And you see Jay tapping on the back of his seat. But again, it's a matter of patience. You got 11 laps into the race. You got your second lap in, and you got an 11-lap race. Just show a little bit of patience and try to go up there and tie on the back of Alex, maybe with Corey.
64 is Corey Ventura out of Union City, California, as Hunter Dunham in the pits. The crew working on that, trying to get him maybe some laps. As they have 9 remaining in this race. There's back to live footage on track. So MP13 racer is Corey Ventura. He's on the 64. 98.
Oh, it's a big pass there.
Jay Newton trying to squeeze it on the inside. The Monkey Moto AGV Sport rider looked like he might have done it. 31 is Renzo Ferreira out of Brazil on the quarterly racing Ninja. So it looks like Jay Newton made that pass work for him. That was super snug.
Yeah, that was snug. And the thing is Jay probably feels like he's got a little bit of pace, because I saw him tap on the back of the bike trying to kind of get Corey to go with him when they came out of turn 5 earlier. But right now we're looking at 2-second lead across the way there for Alex. Right now he's just setting purple sectors on that time, sector 2 and sector 5.
Looks like Jiggleoff too got around and worked his way up into 4th. The number 78 back there, Damian Jiggleoff of the Chicago, Illinois area on the Bart Karn Racing Ninja 400.
How about Kevin Almeida, 16.6 purple split in that first thing. So it goes to show that there's guys behind Alex right now and the 2 in second and third that have pace. So we'll see if those guys can drag up to the back of the battle for second right now. Corey's back ahead of Jay.
So even with it feeling like it's warmer, Alex Dumas just set the fastest lap of the race at a 139.1. That's a little over 0.2 of a second quicker than the fastest lap he set yesterday at a 139.3. Look at this group of riders.
Damian's got to the front of them. He's got by Renzo.
76, Gavin Anthony in that mix.
Corey Ventura gone purple in the second sector, so they pulled back a 10th on Alex there, and they're all about the same through sector 3. The sector 4 is where they've been closing up on him a bit. So we'll have a look at the sector 4 splits here in a minute.
The fastest lap of the race was Dumas, last time by a 39.7 for Jay Newton, a 40 flat for Ventura. Ferreira, Jiggleoff, both in the high 39s. You have Kevin Almeida, 39.3, so the 14
fast
bike is ripping.
He's on his way forward as Kevin. We've seen him on the podium, Greg, and winning races, and he's going to be another guy that if you can get on the back. The hard part is that these straightaways are just long enough. There's a 38.9 from Corey Ventura, so he knocked in half a second on Alex that lap. So,
Corey Ventura qualified at 38.961. He just did 38.999, so he's on qualifying pace. In this heat, when they qualified, did those times, I believe it was a little bit cooler, but there is some cloud cover over the track, and in certain spots, you can see where the shadows get more pronounced, like right here.
Yep.
But they're coming out of an area that's a little bit shadowed, and it makes a difference.
There's Jay, he goes back underneath. Now, the hardest thing is if you can draft and redraft each other and not really mess each other up in the corners, and that looks like could be, I don't want to speculate, but it looks like Nate Minster to me. Possibly on the exit of turn 2 or 3. I'm just looking to see. He didn't come up in the first split. He's up and okay.
Yeah, and I can see the 1 on the number plate on the front. So it's probably Nate Minster, number 41. So the Minster Racing Team rider looks like he's done.
Yep. That group behind the 2 guys in second and third. Right now, I'm just looking. Again, second split. Alex pulled almost half a second on the guys, and you can see Damian's bike moving around a little bit as he comes onto that little short shoot off that chicane. And here we go again. Corey Ventura goes underneath Jay Newton as they go into turn 12. If they can kind of stay organized in a way where they're drafting and redrafting down the front straightaway and not really doing anything too dastardly to each other in the corners, then there's a chance that they can do something.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, because they're not really parking each other. They're just kind of clean passes that are still allowing them to flow.
And you can see what it's doing, Greg. It's allowing those 2 guys in second and third to pull away from that group behind them. So now Jay Newton's going to get in the draft, and Corey Ventura as they come down this front straightaway.
39.2 for Dumas, 39.5s for Ventura and Newton. So Dumas ekes out another 0.3 of a second, so now his lead is 2.
And they knocked that down to 1.7, didn't they, Greg,
Yeah.
on the last lap? So it's back up to 2 seconds, and this is the little sector. But those other guys now are matching him in that first sector. And the group behind are going green, but there's still a little bit of a tick off.
So there's your leader going into turn 5. Here comes second and third place. And this is that 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th place fight that we're watching. Ooh, a little close there from the 14, Olmedo.
Damien's trying really hard to pull that group up to that battle for second and third. And if he can get Renzo to draft and kind of redraft each other a little bit, it might help them. As you see Gavin Anthony trying to look underneath Olmedo. They go into that tricky little turn 7 or turn 8 area, but they gave each other room. That's good. They're not going to be able. They won't lose touch then.
Corey Ventura still on the 64 in second spot. And Alex Dumas, Jason, just ripped off a first split. I wonder if he
Second
sector,
sector
time, the fastest one of the race. I wonder if he's getting some information on his pit board, like they were closing down, because we have the immediate information, but think about it. 2 laps ago when Corey went by his pit board the last time, it probably was down to 1.5. Oh, 79 out. So
that's going to be parked on the very inside of the track. It should be out of the way. It's on the inside of the track here on the front straightaway somewhere, I believe, Greg, that is. And you can see.
That's Teague Hobbs, by the way, on the Hobbs 79 Ninja.
Yep, you'll probably see it up against the wall there when they come down on this shot. So it's out of the way.
Yeah, it's way out of the way. Good job by Hobbs to get that out. You can hear a couple times, though, some riders coming on to the front straightaway and just bouncing off the rev limiter. That is not a way to accelerate, folks.
Especially on these little things. It's when they get in the limiter, they kind of lose a little bit of their momentum. And Alex just ran 38.966, fastest lap of the race on that lap, but only just a tick quicker than what Corey had done a few laps ago. But yeah, Hugo's down there on the pit board, probably giving Alex all the information that he needs.
Oh, here's a big move. Oh.
Hey, what kind of bike control is that?
Wow.
Wow, that's impressive.
Full-blown dirt track maneuver.
Kevin Almeida, what a hero. He had that thing sideways, got himself in that little gray area, and just controlled it. Wow, amazing riding. Cost him some time, which is a bummer, but made no contact with anybody and got that bike slowed down. Really good.
Good job by the El Salvadorian on the Monkey Moto AGV Sport to keep it going. Of course, at one time, he and his teammates on the Monkey Moto AGV Sport, earlier on in the season, all 3 of them stood on the podium. It was something else, not only for that team, but for Yamaha R3s as well.
Yeah, that was a neat thing to see that. Very rarely do you get to see a whole team dominate a podium. So, yeah, it was good for those guys. And once you get a taste of that, that's what you want every single time,
Yeah, we've definitely seen these guys apart.
Look at this. He's in there deep. He's not thinking he's going to make it, and he's probably thinking, all right, I don't want to take anybody out. But see, Greg, see how he's able to keep the bike upright. Even though he's backing the thing in, he's still got a lot of that front tire profile digging into the ground straight up and down. That's why he didn't lose the front. He got it controlled and was able to get through there. Good job on him. And he's got a run right now. He's got a run. He had a big run on Renzo coming onto that front straightaway.
Using all the racetrack on that one, trying to get a run. It's Yamaha R3 versus Ninja 400. The rules constantly shifting this year to try to make these bikes as competitive as possible. And you can see now, compared to the beginning of the year, that the Yamaha very competitive in terms of acceleration, top speed.
Here we go. Now Corey's going to be back in the draft. And he's going to pull to the left as they come down into turn 5. He's going to pull to the left to Jay and kind of sneak his way back through.
This is for second spot. You can see Alex Dumas was into turn 5 just a few moments ago. He's about 2.7 seconds up the road. So a nice pass by Ventura. And Newton in the draft. He's going to pull out. This is a tricky spot. Didn't do it there. There's 4th and 5th, 6th and 7th.
Kevin's rocking that thing right now. He's trying hard, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting corner with that curve. It's very rhythmic in order to get your braking done. It's a modulation of a brake lever as you go over there, because you don't want to be full stick because you've got to bounce off it and back onto the pavement, but a very easy place to make a mistake.
And this is him coming onto the front straightaway a lap ago.
Every millimeter right there.
And he used it and then got right back in that draft. So Kevin's trying really hard right now to do something with the 2 guys in front of him.
And here at Barber Motorsports Park, as long as it's not grass, it's okay to ride on.
Yeah, and I like some of the little additions that they have on the exit of this turn, where we saw Kevin run up on the concrete on the exit of this turn a lap ago. There it is again.
Yep.
And they've done that in turn 1 as well, which is great. So Alex just ran another 38, Greg, a 38.941 that lap. So another fast lap there by Alex. And these two guys now.
That was a mistake by Corey.
They're kind of like, those two guys are letting this little group behind get a little bit closer now. So Damian Jiggleoff 1.2 back that time through. And Damian ran the fastest third sector of the race that lap.
Alex Dumas not resting on his laurels.
That group's getting closer, don't you think, Greg?
Yeah. And there goes Jay Newton, so he'll take over second for the moment. Corey had I think he had a big moment there in one.
Coming out of turn one?
Yeah, he just kind of went wide. I think he just rolled off for it for a moment. And that's like sometimes with these smaller displacement motorcycles, rolling off the gas like that can spell disaster in terms of, you keeping your momentum going. It's like the old 125s or Moto3 bikes that we see.
Yep. No, it's exactly right. It's all about rolling momentum on these things. And I'm just looking to see first couple splits. Yeah, Damian Jiggleoff's doing about the exact same times as these guys here in the first couple splits, but he's pushing, trying to catch up. And if these guys you can see it, Greg, it's visibly closer this time. Damian Jiggleoff just went 0.5 quicker in Sector 3 than the two guys in front of him. So he is pushing hard, and you're going to see he's gotten a lot closer. And once he gets in the draft with these two Yamahas on that front straightaway, they're going to have a third member joining the whole party here. And Damian has actually dropped the guys behind him this lap.
Damian Jiggleoff with a bit between his teeth, number 78 out of Chicago. On that Kawasaki 400, you can see a very small in stature rider gets well behind that bubble. And trying to get in a little bit of draft that we have here at Barber.
And what you're going to see now is Jay Newton is behind Corey Ventura as they go through turn 2 and 3. They might have had a board that said +0, but now when Jay Newton goes to draft his way past Corey after they come up over the top of this hill, Damian Jiggleoff's in the draft of both of them, and he might surprise them both by the time they get down to turn 5.
3 wide heading into Charlotte's Web. On the brakes they go. Newton's up the inside. Jiggleoff trying to go around the outside. That is nowhere to go. But Jiggleoff trying to square it up on the inside. Surprise, surprise.
And now there's a third guy on the
well played.
And he did a great job there. He drafted down the right side of him. But now, who's going to let off when they come into this tricky turn? Corey Ventura is going to lead him through. Damian's going to just follow right in behind him. But see what it's done, Greg? Renzo Ferrari's now part of that party, and so is Kevin Almeida. So Gavin Anthony trying his best just to get on the back of those guys. Now we've got a big battle for second.
And what it's done for the lead, Alex Dumas now 4.3 seconds ahead. He just did a 39.2.
Corey just got out of shape.
Corey
just got out of shape as he came out of turn 11.
Damian taking advantage of that and that second spot.
Yep.
Good job by the 78 to recognize that move.
So we're going to be, I believe we're coming to the white flag this lap. These guys are about, what are they, Greg? They're 4.3 seconds behind, but this battle for second is going to be the one to watch.
Dude, Corey, I think, has got to slow it. Corey is not that he has a problem, but he's just trying to manage something on the bike. I don't know if it's tire, but he's kind of holding up the guys behind him. So we'll see if Jay Newton get around him. So big draft, Corey Ventura in that Cowie draft. Does he have something to pull out? He's going to try him in one. No. So they go in a line down through 1. They'll flick it back to the left, right to turn number 2. Down the hill into 3 they go. Next real big opportunity to pass on this final lap of this race for the Liqui Moly Junior Cup class is going to be down into Charlotte's Web, but a good drive up the hill for Jiggleoff.
Yep, they're not going to be close to it. It's going to be a big move. Corey's going to do it. Corey makes that big move, and here comes Renzo Ferreira. He's going to go up underneath as well. Renzo crashes just smack in front of Kevin Almeida. So Kevin
looked like Kevin. Somebody
looked like
way wide.
It looked like Kevin ran over Renzo's wrist. Honestly, just from my view, it looked like he ran over the wrist. But look, now we got this battle for second between two guys, and they don't know that there's a gap behind them now, Greg.
Yeah, they're going full tilt. I mean, there's nothing there. So it's for the final spot on the podium here. These two, second and third, as Alex Dumas has had it his way the entire race. Damian Jiggleoff has just chipped his way into second spot. Clueless at the carnage behind him in turn number 5. Corey Ventura had to fight off the advances of the 98 of Jay Newton the entire race. Then all of a sudden, the Chicago, Illinois rider Jiggleoff came up after him. So can he make one more move in this one?
Corey's going to try to probably do something with him in the last left-hander. We'll see how that works. But this guy's rode pretty well this year, Greg, and I think it's a great way for him to cap off his year.
Congratulations to our reigning national Liqui Moly Junior Cup champion. Alex Dumas does the double here at Barber Motorsports Park. And as coming to the line,
Damian Jiggleoff, second place. Great job for him after picking himself up off the ground yesterday. And then we got Corey Ventura, third place. And what do we got? Newton there in fourth. Gavin Anthony ended up fifth. And poor Kevin Almeida just got caught out on the last lap there with Renzo falling in front of him.
Hope Renzo's wrist is okay.
Yeah,
but
too.
So it's going to be Dumas, Jiggleoff, and Ventura on the podium. And that, of course, will move up a couple of those riders. Joe Blasius in seventh, Dallas Daniels in eighth, Gage Reese in ninth. Toby Kamsuk is going to round out your top 10. Dylan Deutschlander ahead of Jamie Ostadillo, Mark Edwards, Trevor Standish, Tyler Whistle, Ryan Deutschlander, and Sean Umbarski so far, as riders still out on the race course. And you can see, looks like a little bit of duct tape on that tail section to get that bike ready after yesterday's crash. So Jiggleoff with a great move. A great day of racing, makes up for yesterday. He's happy.
He's going to be definitely happy with that.
His second podium appearance, by the way. So far, every time Damian's been on the box, it's been second spot.
Yep, and today he rode really hard to just close that gap up back to that second and third place battle. And this will be a guy we got to watch next year, Greg. I think that Damian's on a charge. He's sniffed the podium already. He's going to have a good off season. I know him and his dad are planning on being here next year in this championship, and he'll definitely be someone we're going to be keeping an eye on.
But hats off to Alex Dumas in the season that he's had this year. 10 race wins, his 10th victory of the season, a second place and a third place finish. So out of 17 races, Alex Dumas on the podium 12 times this year. As he sets sail for Europe after this, heading over to France. At least he speaks the language.
He does.
They'll get along really well.
And
I heard him out of Quebec, Canada, and Valentin Debise having a yik yak the other day.
Did you? Yeah, is that right?
Yeah. And I meant to ask Valentin. I'm like, so how is Alex's French? You know?
Yeah. No, it'll be an interesting weekend for him next weekend. I think at the world level, I was over in Portugal last weekend and I got to watch those races. It's very, very intense. There's a lot of guys battling for the lead over there. And girls, yeah. We got Maria Herrera and Anna Carrasco. Anna Carrasco leading the championship over there right now. It's going to be great. This is when they came 3 wide. Damian finally, these guys know that he appeared. Oh, this is the lap before. But you're going to see Renzo fall and look at Kevin Almeida. See him run over his wrist. And Renzo, when he got up, he immediately looked at his arm, and I'm just hoping that his arm is okay. Yeah. You're going to see it here a little bit more.
Watch his arm. Yep, right there.
He just ran over his left arm.
Oh, man.
And, yesterday when we saw Damian tip over, do you remember how quickly he got his arms in?
Yeah.
Got his arms right on his chest quickly, but it just can happen so easy to run over somebody's arm like that. But I'm just glad it was his arm and not anything else.
I'm sure Kevin's concerned about it, too, because he felt it for sure.
For sure.
So hopefully that's not a bad injury, but that's quite a hit for the arm to take. All right, so Alex Dumas will log a 5.0 second victory, so 5 seconds. And by the way, Damian Jiggleoff was able to hold on to second place over Corey Ventura by 32 thousandths of a second.
Wow. And the other guys were just right there with them as well.
Alex Dumas into victory lane. I was like, oh, is he going to light it up?
He's not,
I'm like, come on, Alex isn't a big burnout guy.
No, he's not that kind of kid. He's a little bit more mellow than that, and he's just a kid that likes to let his riding do some of the talking for him. And it's been fun, fun for me on a personal level. He was 11 years old when I got to meet him. He's just the whole family, everybody down there, amazing people. So it's just been fun to watch.
So the KTM Orange Brigade JP43 training rider Alex Dumas, his 10th victory of the season. And that, of course, further extends his points lead. So when you look back on the record books, the gap back to the points. Here is that run to the flag for second place, and it was that close. It was almost a photo finish.
Yep.
That's a great job by Corey Ventura. For Corey Ventura, I'm sure he wanted a better spot. He won one of these this year. He has 8 podium positions after that third place finish. So Corey Ventura is another one. I mean, we have to look at, in terms of points, Corey might bounce out of the class.
Yeah,
because of
you and I talked about that a little bit yesterday, and I got
Mm-hmm.
more questions on that today. And thanks to you, and all your bookkeeping. And it'll be interesting to see how that works within the MotoAmerica rules of who has to get bumped up or not.
There's a look at the results. On the bottom of your screen, you can see Dumas, Jiggleoff, Ventura, Newton, Anthony, Almeida, Blasius, Daniels, Gage Reese, Toby Kamsuk, Dylan Deutschlander, Jamie Ostadillo, Mark Edwards, Trevor Standish, and Tyler Whistle. and the rest of the field on through there. Our final Liqui Moly Junior Cup race of 2018. Our first season as Liqui Moly Junior Cup. I think a tremendous success. Here are the final point standings for the season. And when Alex looks back in the record books, when he's an old man like you, Jason Pridmore,
thank you,
he'll say, my first national championship in the United States was won by 74 points over Corey Ventura. Jay Newton, Ashton Yates will hold on to that 4th spot. And we talked about that battle between Mbarski and Jackson Blackman. Blackman's exit helped that out. Gavin Anthony will hold on to 7th spot. Olmedo in 8th. So Astudillo will slide down to 9th spot when it's done, but still a podium finish and a solid top 10 year for Jamie Astudillo in her 2nd year of road racing.
She had a couple podiums this year, did she not?
She had 2, but
yeah. That's right.
That one got erased because
Miller,
of the weaving. Yep, she got a penalty.
That's correct.
So for sure,
can never go against your stats, can I?
Yeah, Well, yeah, you sure can.